It's not hard to provide proof of funds if you have lenders in your side. Like I have private money lenders that can give me a letter saying that I have proof of funds of whatever amount I want.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's enough to show that you have proof of funds.
Okay.
And then go and assign it to your buyer and make your fee.
Okay.
If they don't want to use a marketing fee agreement, to get another contract with them and assign it to your buyer.
All right. It's a $20 million deal.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, whatever works. I mean, I'm sure I can find a lender that'll give me a proof of funds letter saying that I have access to $20 million. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, whichever way works best.
So sorry. So I offer them the 20 million, and they accept. Then I take that to the end buyer, and then they decide that they don't want it. I don't have any issues losing it. I don't put any earnest money down on this thing. I don't have any issues backing out.
The way I've done it with realtors, I usually tell them straight out what I'm doing, what I'm planning on doing, so they can understand what's going to happen. Or just get an option period. They say, hey, you know what? I'll pay you $500. Give me an option. Give me 30 days or 15 days or 10 days, whatever. Then I have a buyer that might be interested. I'll get it in the contract. And if he says yes, then go ahead and write the contract, the original contract. Oh, if they don't, then okay, you just lose $500, but it was worth the risk to make a couple of grand more. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So you might want to start off with an option period then.
All right. I'm thinking I'm just going to throw it out. I'll talk to the realtor about the marketing agreement, and then and let him hash it out with his brokerage. I mean, if they don't want to pay me for bringing a buyer to the table of a $20 million deal, that's kind of lame, you know?
Yeah, it is. And trust me, most realtors won't do that because they don't understand them. Yeah, that's why I hate dealing with realtors. That's why I stopped being a realtor. But anyway, that's a different story. But yeah, so see, if it's land, check does it make sense at 20 million?
Yeah. Well, 17.5. At 17.5, it's a good deal. And then, but we don't have it. The owner of the property is in China, and I'm working with the realtor who has to present the offer. And he says they might take it because they're tired of it. And
but then offer him 15.
Take it.
I would.
I mean, make an offer.
Yeah. I would offer 15 and go to your buyer. Hey, I have it. You want it for 16.5 or whatever, 17. I don't know, whatever it is that you want to tell him. And if he goes and sees the listing and it says, well, it's listed for 20, I'm like, yeah, I know, but I can get it for you for 16 or 17 or whatever it is. And like, okay, I'll take it. You just assigned it. But I would start low. If they're tired of it, I would start low and make the offer.
Yeah, it's listed at 3,600 an acre, and I threw 2,750 out there, and he said they might take it, and then I don't know if he didn't, he hasn't presented them with the offer yet, so I'm going to tell him, well, that's what I'm offering. Are they going to take it or not?
Yeah, I mean, they have to present it regardless. I mean, if he's in China, then it might take a little bit longer for her or for him to present it, but they literally have to present every offer.
Oh,
regardless if it's a low ball offer. Not unless the seller says, I will not do anything less than 15. If you get an offer less than 15, I don't want to hear it. Then yes. But technically, it's their fiduciary duty to present every offer.
What's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, perfect. My name is Terrell Humphrey, and I was just calling. I just want to ask you: is there a way where we can get your contact information for the private lender?
For my private lender?
Yes, sir.
What are you trying to acquire or what?
Just for future reference when I do come across some deals.
Yes and no.
Okay.
The reason why I say yes and no is because if you're just gonna use a private, if you just need a proof of funds, you don't technically need access to our private lender unless you actually plan on using them.
Hmm.
But if you need a proof of funds letter, I can get you one.
Okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Is there? Can I get your contact information? Then?
Yeah, add me on Facebook, Junior Octavio. I should be in one of the groups, the Hive Mind group.
You say what? What is it again?
Hive Mind group, the CRM Hive Mind, the
Yes, sir.
Facebook page.
Mhm.
Just add me as a friend and send me a message. Junior Octavio.
Okay. Thank you,
And
brother.
just add me and then send me a message of telling me about the proof of funds letter.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you, brother.
no problem.
Is there anybody here interested in buying 6,000 acres?
Where is it at?
San Antonio, outside of San Antonio.
Yeah, I might. I don't know. I need to talk to a friend of mine because he literally called me like 2 days ago that he's looking for a large amount of land because he wants to grow weed. I'm like, bro, I don't think you can do that here in Texas. Like, no, yes. I'm like, yes, I don't know what law, I don't know. I'm like, dude, I'm not up to date, so I can't tell you yes or no. So, but he's looking for land, so.
Oh, hemp is a big industry, man. They're using it for all kinds of stuff these days, and it's not, it's not like get high weed. It's but they're legalizing the actual, growth of hemp for the oils and the thread, the fabrics you can make out of it and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what he was talking about. So, I mean, send it over. I'll send it to him.
Yeah, let's see. It's a working ranch right now, and we got some royalties. They're making about 20 grand a month off of the oil. The royalties on the oil. They only own like 5% of the royalties, but it is pumping oil. And with the way gas is going.
Yeah. Okay. How many wells do they have, like, for pumping oil?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have all that information, but I can send you the information over. Anthony, I sent it over to Anthony a couple of days ago. He's taking a look at it, but I figured I'd offer it up here in the group before I send it out to this guy from Dubai.
Okay. Yeah. I'm about to meet Anthony right now in a little bit. I'm driving from Houston to San Antonio right now.
All right. Super. Begins with
I'll ask him about it.
Tilden or Tyndale or Tin something. I'm looking for it now. But yeah, man, I'll be happy to send you the details. Like to be.
Is that the one you just sent me?
Yeah,
It's
there
Anthony.
he is. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, sorry, we're doing a property walk right now, so I'm a little bit late to the party.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll send that one over to I'll send them the details from that link you sent me. We're still evaluating it, man. I like the price. So
yeah. All right, super. So I'll give this realtor a call and let him know that we got there's some meat on the bone. We're interested in moving forward at that price.
yeah, is that one listed publicly?
He said it's a pocket listing. It's in his, it's on some kind of like a land listings website, but it's listed at $3,600 an acre.
Yeah, the price is great, man, especially for that size of property. If they have a little bit of wiggle room, I think we get that size of property. I think we've been seeing those for anywhere between like 2,000 to 3,000, 3,500 an acre. So the price is pretty good. I'm sure they have some flexibility in there as well. So either one or two things that we try to have them do is either give us a considerable cash discount or else give us some kind of terms. If they wanted us to just cash them out, then we try to negotiate the price pretty far down where we could still make something on it. But if they say no, price is pretty firm, like okay, then maybe we could do lump sum down payment and see if we could spread it out over like 24 months or 36 months or something,
or even 10 years. I mean, they've had it for a while, and it's not producing what they thought it would. Realtor says it's not being managed very well. There's a lot of resources on the property that they're not using properly. So anyway,
Okay. I think let's get on a call with Junior and everybody, man. Let's get a little bit more details. Maybe we can record it and then recycle it back into the group. That way everybody can take a closer look at it and then see what we're seeing. But yeah, I just need to spend a little bit more time in front of the property. And if you can kind of give me all the good, the bad, and the ugly, maybe have a conversation with the realtor right quick. And then go from there. That's an incredible property, man. They're hard to find lots that size that are at a fair price.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what you come up with on Facebook, man. You just never know.
I think that's the thing. I don't know if everybody in this group is doing it or not. Super important. Let everybody know that you're buying land, because it's a very interesting niche right now that's not yet saturated. We're in the land business, so we feel like it's saturated, but there's not a lot of people talking about it. And just randomly all day long, people are just sending me stuff like, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. And any one of those inbound Facebook Messenger messages could be 100 grand, 50 grand. So yeah, we're in the right business. And like I said, definitely nowhere near saturation. We're 20 years out from saturation. Thank you. But maybe the major parts of the cities are like the main cities, but I mean, there's going to be outskirts forever. So what are we covering on this call, man? Anybody have any topics you want to cover? We're having our boot camp this week right now at the San Antonio office. So it's completely hands-on, immersive. Like we're sitting there texting. So that's what I got going on today. So one of our members had to go run out and look at a property, so I went with them and that kind of stuff. But if anybody has any topics they want to cover, any questions, just feel free to shoot it in here. Unmute yourself.
Hey, I have a question.
Hi there. Please.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Really good, thank you.
Good. So when you say let people know that you're buying land, what do you mean? Like let people know where, on Facebook, on groups?
Okay, let me give you a long, short answer. I saw this guy one time, and I was opening a car dealership just as like a trial and error because my cousin had one. He's real successful in it. And I saw this guy that had all these like exotic cars in the garage, maybe 100 of them. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm just starting up a dealership. I want to see if you can give me some advice. What would be your best piece of advice? And he said, post everything you're doing on Facebook. And that's all he said. That's probably the best piece of advice I've ever got. And so I applied that to my real estate business. So anytime you go walk a property, anytime you're looking at something, anytime you're doing anything that's related to your business, post it on social. Take 10 seconds, post it on Instagram. Hey, just walk in this house. Hey, just walk in this little ranch, looking at this little lot. And just let people know what you're doing. And what happens is, you know, you post something like that, it gets 3 likes. You're like, oh, well, nobody paid attention. Nobody said anything about it. But people are watching. People are watching. They're collecting information. They're collecting data. And sooner or later, somebody that you never thought in a million years would reach out to you is going to send you a message on Facebook Messenger. And they're going to say, hey, I see you're buying land. You know, my aunt has a piece of land she wants to sell, and it's going to be a crazy price. And it's going to be an amazing deal, and you're making 100 grand. It's just going to happen like that. It's funny, too, because I always use it as an example. I would say, like, post what you're doing on Facebook and on Instagram. And I always use it as an example. I say, somebody that you went to high school with, somebody you haven't talked to in years, is going to reach out to you and say, hey, I saw you're doing land. And then they're going to get all involved. And it's funny, too, because Elizabeth Falcone, the one she's here in San Antonio, one of her high school friends just like a week ago reached out to her and she wants to get involved. So now she's helping do text messages and make phone calls and comb through data and all that stuff. So that's what I mean by, cool. Yeah, tell everybody what you're doing.
So even if you're, so for me, I'm not like I'm a land investor, but I buy land not locally. You know, I'm based out of New Jersey right now. My markets are Arizona. So would I be, I guess when you say post everything you're doing, I'm actually not walking, you know, any properties for the most part. I kind of buy, you know, I do my comps and do my negotiating, you know, text messaging and all that stuff. So pretty much sight unseen for the most part. So would that apply when you say, you know, talk about everything you're doing on Facebook? If you are, you know, if you're doing stuff out of your area, like out of state, different.
Absolutely. Yeah. Imagine how amazing that sounds to somebody who's not in our business. Say I'm running a land investing company from another state. I don't even got to go see the stuff. I'm doing it from my kitchen table. All right, that's an amazing
Yeah.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm doing out of my
that'll
dining room table.
that'll definitely intrigue people. And then so you know, they say, hey, what are you doing? How does that work? How are you doing that? You know, post every time you get a deal. Another closing this week. Yep, from my kitchen table, super easy. I love land. I love this business, that kind of stuff. Hashtag, and people reach out to you. Like I said, they just have to see what you're doing, and that does two things. I want everybody to know this. I don't know if everybody's thinking about this. I just assume that everybody knows what I know or thinking what I'm thinking. But if you are thinking in terms of teaching people what you're doing, getting them excited about it, they say, hey, what exactly are you doing? So just come to this call. And it was kind of self-explanatory. Can you be on a call Thursday at 7? Invite them to the calls, share what you're doing. And then when somebody gets interested, what they're going to do is they're going to have either one or two things they can contribute to your business. Is they can contribute their time or their capital, right? Because this business is all about pooling capital. Even if you're at the highest level investor, like Tim Bratz and these guys that are buying islands, they have a lot of friends, you know, that are willing to leverage and lend them millions of dollars, right? But if you never leverage your first $5,000 or 10 grand, you know, maybe somebody that has, hey, I got 10,000 saved up. What should I do? Like, hey, can you invest 2,500 with me in the marketing? Right? And we get a deal, we'll split our deals 50-50, you know, or whatever, 25-75, whatever the number is. But if you're leveraging your, you know, your resources, your contacts, if everybody's leveraging their resources against each other, that's how you can really start to scale really quickly, and nobody's carrying a large load. And then with our Hivemind business model, it's designed so that eventually your marketing budget goes to zero and you're getting more leads than you've ever got before. But it doesn't work unless you start building a team, start sharing what you're doing with other people. And that's when the magic happens.
Okay, and last question. When you say, because my strength is not marketing, that's why I kind of joined the Hivemind. I'm trying to get better at it. So I would definitely like to start, you know, marketing on Facebook and so forth. But are you putting everything, or are you suggesting putting everything on your personal page, or creating a business page and then, you know, doing it that way, or both?
I say I'm trying to like collapse time and space, right? So I'm trying to like shrink a person's success down into the very shortest amount, like smallest window possible. So I'd say start posting now from your personal page over and over and over again. We're in a mastermind, Daniel and myself, and it's a marketing mastermind. The guy's a genius. I think he's doing a couple $100,000 a month. And what he talks about is, he says, you have to post so much that you're annoying. He said, because the people that aren't going to do business with you, they were never going to do business with you anyway, if they get annoyed by your posts. He said, so if you're not annoying, you're not posting enough. He said, and the people that are going to do business with you, they're going to cheer for you. They're going to do business with you no matter what. They don't care how much you post. So don't be ashamed to post as often as possible. I would say post on your Facebook stories and your Instagram stories. Facebook and Instagram love for you to post on your stories, and that's how you'll get like the most views if you do that. So nobody can comment and say, hey, you're always posting the same thing, you know, publicly, because it's in their stories. But yeah, I say post from your personal stuff for right now. You can always leverage a business page. You can set up some automations through Hivemind when you're, you know, communicating with buyers through your business pages. So, but that's just a more advanced strategy. What I would say is just take out all of the reasons why it's going to take that you're going to become successful at a future date. Even for one, like just your language, like the things that we say about ourselves, right? Kind of like mindset. If you said, I'm not a great marketer, you know, take that out of your vocabulary and take it out of your mindset, because probably what you know about marketing right now is probably 99% more than all of your friends, right? You're a master marketer compared to all of your friends that aren't marketing at all. So just change. We got to change the stories that we tell ourselves or tell about ourselves, right? So say I'm learning marketing. I'm becoming a marketing expert. And it's just the same thing, just different way to say it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm picking that up.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's a fun business, because that's another thing too, is we have to remember that this is absolutely fun. Like, we have our bad days, right? We put in a lot of effort and we put in a lot of capital, and we don't see it come back right away. So we're kind of nervous and scared, like, dang, did I make a mistake? Did I waste my time? But I promise you, this business is cumulative. You'll go from not very many checks and not very much inbound capital to more capital than you know what to do with. And it happens very quickly too. I mean, it feels like a long journey, right? If you're working for a year, 2 years on the same project and you're not seeing the progress,
No,
but yeah.
I absolutely, I joined the Hive Mind, I don't know, I feel like 6 months ago.
Mhm.
But even if I get on and just listen, it's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I don't ask questions, but I'm just listening
Hmm.
or whatever the case may be. But even as a land investor, it's been, my journey is a little less than 2 years with Hive Mind, about 6 months, but utilizing the CRM and creating my website through that has been, you know, amazing for me. 'Cause it was like places where I was stuck, and again, joining the calls and asking questions. So, you know, it's been great. And the groups as well. So,
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you're here too. Yeah, we love our people and we want to see you grow. We want to see you, start to get into momentum. And then even Elizabeth, she asked me, she was like, how can I pay you back? And I'm like, you need to give it to somebody else. You don't pay it back to me. You pay it to the next person in line now. That's how you pay us back. So we want to see everybody get to that place, and we're in a position where you can share it with your friends and family and your coworkers and the people you love and care about, and even strangers. Right? Nothing feels better than to help somebody that you don't know, where there's no benefit to you, and to be able to like just do that. I think it keeps you like in a place of abundance. Like I'll do deals and I'll close stuff for people, and I'm not even involved in it. I'm not even getting paid for it, but I just feel it makes me feel great. Like I feel unlimited. I feel like there's like so much to give, and sometimes no matter how much we give away, I feel like there's more coming. And it's a good feeling to walk around with that in your body and in your mind. Kind of takes us out of that scarcity or that lack mindset. You just feel like, I know I have a lot to give. And even if it's not capital, like I can give away my knowledge. I can give away my mastermind. I can give away my contacts, my people. I can give away my leads. And there's still so much more coming. I'm never going to be able to absorb it all or use it all. So I can definitely share it with the people around me.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, it's a good business. I think our business model is perfect. I mean, it's A+ amazing. Yeah, so we thank you for being here and everybody on this call for participating. And just a reminder, I want to reiterate that the knowledge that you're getting on these calls, it's cumulative, right? You come to these calls and you're like, oh, I hear a lot of the same stuff, and I've already heard that before. But I promise you, the more times you hear this, the more it becomes ingrained in your soul. And then I recommend that everybody's teaching somebody else. Every single person on this call, I don't care how new you are, there's somebody that knows less than you. Because when you're teaching other people, you're becoming better at it yourself, right? Like, it's like, I made a video about this on YouTube probably 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It's like you're sharpening your own sword when you're sharpening somebody else's, right? So it's like it's ingraining all the phrases and all the ideas when you're sharing and teaching somebody else. It's like burning more into your subconscious mind, so that when you do take that phone call with that seller for that big deal that you've been waiting for, it's like you've already said that script 9,000 times because you've been teaching other people. So it just comes to you like second nature. Like you've already worked on those neural pathways in your brain to say those things, and the way that you explain it perfectly because you've been teaching people the whole time. So it's like you're staying ready for the final game. You're ready for that, to win the Super Bowl. You're ready for that final game winning shot because you've been practicing over and over and over again. But if you're not teaching anybody, if you're not training anybody, then the only efforts and the only practice you get is when you're actually doing it yourself, which is, not as often as it could be. But I think one thing that helped me get better really, really quick is that I was always teaching other people, and I wasn't even looking for anything for myself either. I just wanted to see other people win, and I was excited about what I was doing. And I think you got to get excited. You got to get excited about what you're doing. Remember, this is a business, but we're here to have fun too. You can't take yourself too seriously, because then it turns into work, and then you think, I want to make those calls, or I'm going to get on the phone and do that follow up, and you get that eerie feeling like, I'll just call them tomorrow, I'll just call them later. But
Right.
yeah, I think working on your craft, mastering your craft, like taking that free throw shot. Like I made this shot already 5,000 times. So when people are here in the office or they call me and they say, hey, can you talk to this seller for me? There's no hesitation there at all. I don't think like, I kind of don't want to call anybody today. Like, give me that phone. What's the number? Like, I'm dialing it right away without even thinking about it. Probably because I have the other person's best interest in mind, but it's like, I've already made this game winning shot 5,000 times. So I know there's a pretty good chance that if I get on the phone that I'm going to close it if it's a good deal and the seller's willing to work with us. So I think I heard Pace Morby say that on a call, or he was on something, maybe it was with Steve Trang. but he said he would just come in and just close deals for people. So they would tee him up, they would talk to get the sellers warmed up, make sure they know what's coming, and then he would just come in and close. And I thought, you know what, that's amazing. That's actually probably the best business model I've ever heard of. Teach the people what to do, get us as close as you can to the finish line, and then bring us in to put down the hammer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so you get the practice, right? So teach the people around you, teach new people around you, and have them tee you up for the sale. Hey, here's how you do the marketing. Here's how you do the calling. Here's how you do the, the outbound marketing, or how to do the deal research. So you're teaching somebody else that's interested, somebody that wants to change their life. And then they'll call you one day and they'll say, hey, guess what? I got this lady on the phone. She says she wants to sell. She's ready. She said, bring the paperwork. Dang, and you just come in and close, and then you get half of the deal that you didn't have to do 90% of the work for, right? Because you shared your knowledge with these people. You shared the information. You told them what to do, and then it starts to pay itself back like exponentially.
Yeah.
Very fulfilling.
Yes, it is. Again, the hive mind for me was great because again, I started my journey about 2 years ago, and it could be very irritating when you're stuck and you don't have a support group, and you kind of hit a roadblock and you don't have a network to kind of, bounce your thoughts off of. So the hive mind has been great. Again, even just from the listening aspect, there's so much to absorb, and hearing other people's stories is great, as well as asking questions. So I'm happy I found you guys.
We're happy you found us too. We appreciate you, because we are absolutely nothing without all of you. So yeah, we're equally as grateful, and so we want to make sure that it's worth it for you. We want to make sure that we see you win and become successful. So come into these calls. Yeah, what are your challenges? What can we do to help? And then in my mind, if we can shave it all the way down to its simplest form, if I had to just one piece of advice, one thing to cut through all the noise, is to do what I do when I first started, when I knew absolutely nothing about real estate, never been to a closing before. Just start marketing. Just do marketing. That's all you have to get good at. Because if you talk to 50, guess you're probably going to get a deal. But if it takes you 2 years to talk to 50 sellers, you're probably going to get a deal, but it's going to take a while. So just get in front of as many opportunities as you can. And then the only way that I know how to do that at a very, very high rate is to leverage the people around you, leverage their time and leverage their energy and their capital in exchange for your knowledge. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not being elite. That's not being weird or shady. It's like, I will give you all of my intellectual capital if I could borrow a little bit of your time. Or, I want to send out these mailers. Maybe you can split the cost with me. And when we get the leads, we'll do some kind of split on the back end. Easiest way. It's because look at it this way. If you're doing, I don't know, let's say you're talking to 10 sellers a day or 20 sellers a day. And then that's pretty much all you could do with your time, right? That's a pretty good contact rate for anybody. But if you brought on one person and you train them to do exactly what you're doing, and they can talk to 10 or 20 sellers a day, now you're talking to 40 people a day. And then you bring on another person and they can talk, now you're talking to 60 people a day. So if you're working with 3, 4, 5, 6 people, then next thing you know, you're doing 2 or 3 or 4 months worth of work in an afternoon. Right. So again, pulling your time together, pulling your capital together to do marketing efforts, to get more sellers on the phone. That doesn't mean scrubbing lists for 3 days or picking out your target. Get involved with that, then the faster things are going to go for you, in front of more opportunities and nothing else. If you only focus on that, then things start to happen really, really quickly.
Cool.
Anybody else have anything you want to chat about? Any questions, concerns, comments?
Hey, Anthony.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you? The other time I think it's
Really good.
okay, cool. The other time I'd asked for your data lead source. I think you said a guy was putting something together and you were gonna post it in the group. Did you do that?
What lead source was this for?
So remember when I asked if you have like a specific like filter combination for pulling land for leads or whatever on any system, maybe like PubStream or whatever, and you said there was a particular guy that uses one system or one software, and you were gonna post it in the group.
Yes, and I forgot exactly who it was. Oh, his name is Pablo. Let me not. I know Pablo Ramirez and Pablo. I think it's Pablo Rodriguez. I'm
Okay.
gonna post his number in the chat right now, and he's the one that he might be in Hive University. He might be one of the instructors, but he's gonna do a Zoom with us, and he's gonna do a class on one of these Zoom calls on how to pull some lists. And then what he does is he filters them over and over and over again against multiple lists, so that when you do it, sometimes you end up with a real small list, but then they're pretty highly targeted. So I prefer to text, or call thousands of people all at the same time. But if you're looking to get your very first deal, then I would say, yeah, go after a highly, highly, highly targeted list. And then everybody you're talking to has several layers of motivation. So like he'll take like the tax list and then weigh that against the out-of-state owner list, and then he'll weigh that against another list until you filter it all the way down to nothing. So I'll have him come on and explain his process sooner or later. But yeah, he just came to the new office a couple of days ago, and we did a podcast, and he was telling me, I think he uses, I want to say REI Black Book or something, but that's why I kind of didn't want to mention what the software was until he tells you. But I just posted his name and his phone number inside the chat. If somebody wants to hit him up and say, hey, Anthony said you're the guy that knows how to filter lists, and then yeah, I think it's worth a conversation with him. But he'll be teaching it sooner or later, hopefully in the next week or two.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and another quick question. Do you have any kind of experience with like off-grid properties? I have this 320 acres in New Mexico. It's off-grid, but I think they're asking like less than $500 an acre. And I don't know
Dang.
if anybody has. Yeah, it's like really $387 an acre. They just want $124,000 for it.
Wow.
I don't know if you have any experience with that.
I've never done anything like that. Mostly everything I've done is like within an hour of a major city, something like that. Maybe 2 hours is where my sweet spot is. So if it's kind of way out in the middle of nowhere, then I'm not too sure what to do with that. I wonder if Mike Novak or Yasir might know what to do with that.
Yeah, so I'm out in Colorado where we have a lot of that.
Wow.
Basically anything between Kansas and Pikes Peak, Colorado Springs, Denver, that area, there's nothing. There's not a tree, over 2 foot on that property. And $500 an acre is about what it gets. And I mean, people use it to run cattle on, but you need like 15 acres per cow. So that's why it's so cheap. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to get it under contract and then throw it out there and then find out if somebody's, looking for it. But that's definitely that's a small niche of people that want that property.
Right. Okay.
But that's going to be people that own cattle that are going to want that property. How many acres is it?
320.
320. So that's 100 acres is a square. So you got three squares of property there. But yeah, put it up on. I'll tell you what. I mean, if you want some more information on that, hit me up in the Facebook group or something, and we'll talk more offline.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
That's what I was gonna say. So what I would do is one step down from getting it under contract. If you're not sure if you can move it, then I usually get an option on it. Sometimes the seller wants you to pay for it. It's just a little less binding than an actual purchase agreement. So that's something that if a seller is too close to retail where I'm not comfortable, then I'll just ask for an option, and then I'll kind of make my contacts and see who can help me fund that deal. So that's just one thing to consider too. If you have something that you're just kind of like on the fence about, I would probably grab an option before I just did a purchase agreement on it.
Okay.
Anthony, can you explain what are you talking about when you say grab an option? Do you have them sign something?
Yeah, so the option agreement, you can just look them up on Google. Sometimes it's a one pager, and all it says it's a document that says that you have the right to buy the property. You have the option to purchase it, but not necessarily that I'm purchasing it. And then you can have two types of option. You can have an exclusive option agreement, or you can have a non-exclusive option. So the exclusive option says that I'm under option for this period of time, and the seller's not allowed to sell the property to anybody else. Sometimes that's why sometimes they want to get paid for that, right? Because now they're binded by that agreement. So if they called you and said, "Hey, I'm selling the property," like, "No, you're not. You're gonna get a lawsuit," right? And that's why sometimes they would want you to pay for that. Non-exclusive option agreement says I have the option to purchase it, but I don't have to. And then also the seller's not obligated to sell it to you either. So during that option period, he says, "Hey, I already found somebody that wants to buy it. Sorry, have a nice day." Then that's pretty much where it ends. But it's less binding, because if you get something under contract that you don't have the funds in place or the loan in place to actually close on it, and that seller's savvy and he turns around and sues you, I mean, he can get in big trouble, fraud, all that other kind of stuff. So option is just one level down from the purchase agreement to keep you out of trouble.
Super, thank you. That's very useful.
You're super welcome. Yeah, it's a lot less dangerous, like I said. So sometimes I'll have somebody call me and say, "Hey, I'm talking to the seller, and the seller wants to start using all this fancy language, and they want to start doing all this stuff." And I'm like, "This sounds like a real savvy seller that's setting you up for a lawsuit if you don't perform." So if you're brand new, you might tuck tail and run on that deal, or bring somebody in who's a lot more experienced to help you navigate that one. Yeah, because some of these sellers are slick, man. I think the more savvy they are, the more properties they own, the more money they have, they might make an example out of you if they're tired of wholesalers calling them about their property. So again, just not to do no fear mongering, but we got to be careful. We got to take care of each other and know how to navigate in and out of difficult situations in this business before they start. I have a mentor. His name's Logan Fulmer here in San Antonio. And when I first met him, I mean, this guy's so defense oriented, because he's been to court a lot of times, on both sides, both the suing side and the getting sued side. And when he's explaining to me all this defense, in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, I get it. But right. So I was never never leaning into it as much as him. And it was kind of annoying sometimes. But now knowing what I know, years later, I'm like, that's why he plays so much defense. I mean, the guy's a master. He's an absolute master. And his brain's always thinking, you're not thinking of, things happening bad for you, but it's better to be thinking in terms of what could go wrong so that you can foresee the future so that you never end up there. So yeah, we're always thinking about offense in this business, but I don't think there's a whole lot of people talking about defense. Yeah, you'll learn how to protect yourself and keep yourself from getting in trouble or getting sued as often as possible. Sooner or later, you'll probably get sued, but you want to delay it or avoid it as much as possible.
Hey, what's going on, Anthony? I have a question.
Yes, sir.
All right, so so I'm stuck on how to comp the land. Is there a way where you can just walk through that process?
Yeah, man, super, super simple. Nobody has to get lost in comps. The only reason you're going to do like these hardcore comps is if you're doing houses, right? Because if you know that house, nothing's selling in that neighborhood for more than $100 a square foot, that's what your house is worth, period. Land is more flexible because no two pieces of land are identical. Two neighboring parcels could be, 50% different because one has a creek, one does not. One's in the flood zone, one does not. One has trees, one does not. One has utilities, one does not. So I don't get too lost in comps. The only thing I ever do for comps is I look at the county appraisal value. You can just type in, your county CAD, CAD, and just go and see what the county thinks it's worth. So that's my step one. And then step two, I go to realtor.com and I'll just see what stuff is listed for. Has to be the same size lot. Right. So a 1 acre lot is not going to sell for the same price as a 50 acre lot, per acre. A 1 acre lot could be 50 grand and a 50 acre lot could be selling for 10,000 an acre. So realtor.com, see what's listed, see what's pending, right? Because pending means that somebody contracted it already at that price. Like there's a buyer that's already under contract there. And then I just assume that most brokers and realtors do their homework to put those properties up for sale because they know what they're probably going to bring in. So that's all I really ever run for comps. I don't go in there and see what recent sales have been or anything like that because that information is not even really available in Texas. So keep it super, super simple. Don't overcomplicate it on comps. It doesn't have to be that complicated. I've never really looked into it too heavily and I've done okay.
Hello, Anthony.
Yes.
Hey, Anthony. Luis Arce, a longtime listener, first time caller type of person.
Awesome, man. Thank you for being on here.
You're welcome, man. How does your day look like? Your week look like? Your month look like? Like, can you run through that? Can you kind of, so I can have kind of an idea how do you manage your days?
Yeah,
And you and anybody else that's high producing.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. My days, man, I try to keep my appointments to little to nothing. So I know like Elon Musk runs like in 15-minute increments all day long. I'll tell you, if I put something on my calendar, like if I have a property walk Wednesday at 4, I already kind of get like an eerie feeling because like now that spot's taken, right? Because I like to keep myself flexible and available in case something amazing pops up. So pretty much from the time I wake up in the morning, I don't set an alarm clock anymore. I used to get up at 5 and 6 and meditate and fast and morning rituals and all that. Read a little bit, either a Bible or book, something like that in the morning. And then I would start taking my morning calls, 8:30 after my morning stuff. Now, since for about 13, 14 months, I don't set an alarm at all. So I get up somewhere between like 7 and 8. When I get up in the morning, I don't start taking any calls until 10, no meetings until about 12. And then a lot I'm doing is virtual because I'm dealing with other team members, calls, text messages, emails. So I'm like coaching people through deals, helping people analyze deals. And that's pretty much it. But I try to keep a very, very flexible schedule. Like I said, no set meetings and appointments if possible, unless absolutely necessary. Like I have a property, 27 acres that I own here in San Antonio, and a girl wants to come see it tomorrow. And that's all I have booked for this week right now. Aside, we have the boot camp all week. So I'm going to be here mostly day in and day out, but everything I'm doing is virtual, flexible, and very, very little meetings. If I can help it, 0 meetings. So that way I get an inbound text message or phone call. Somebody says, hey, I have a deal I want you to look at, or can you hop on the seller with me at this time? Then yes, I can do that. But I try to keep the most important stuff front of mind, and almost spur of the moment, really, man. I like to keep my schedule freed up. That way, if something amazing comes in, I can go see it. I can jump in and look at it. But I ran a construction company for almost 20 years. So like I said, getting up at 6 a.m. and working long hours and having meetings, stuff booked out for weeks and months, I just got burned out on it. So I'm trying to have as little structure in my business as possible now because it's enjoyable, it's fluid, and I don't feel stressed or pressured. And like I said, last thing I want to do is kind of nail myself back down to that corporate feeling where I have nothing but meetings scheduled day in and day out, all day, every day. It's like I started this business to avoid that.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Very welcome.
Hey, can you guys set up a camera and live stream the boot camp for a select, for Hive members?
Yeah, I think we are going to do that.
That'd be cool to watch you guys work.
Cool. Yeah, man. That's what we're planning on doing. We're just letting a camera run in there. So people can just participate virtually and just listen and stuff like that. But that's really all we're doing. We're just hitting the phones. People are at their computers. Everybody's getting their campaign set up today. So by tomorrow, taking lots of phone calls, emails, text messages, that kind of stuff. Like somebody found a really good deal earlier. She handed me the phone. There was about 20 numbers to call. I dialed every single one, left some voicemails, sent some text messages, sent some emails. Done. That's it. So yeah, we'll get something going here in a little bit. Daniel just got here like an hour ago too. Hour and a half ago. So I'm sure he has something cool he's cooking up.
I'm almost there.
You're coming today or tomorrow?
Right now, bro, I'm almost there.
Yeah. All right. Sounds great. Yeah, my mom made some food. We ordered some chicken earlier. Got all kinds of stuff going over here right now.
I'm like 30 minutes away.
Oh, dang, you're here. All right. Good times. That's what I love about this community, man. Everybody really is super helpful. This really is, it does feel more like a family than it does a business. That's probably why I try to keep it as like low level business as possible. I don't have any employees aside from the VAs that service the HiveMind, the software. So I don't have anybody that works for me that requires a paycheck. My sister's a full-time admin. So she's, I guess, the only quote unquote employee that I have. But as far as like my business structure goes, no VAs, no cold callers, nothing like that. So the goal for the HiveMind was to work in partnerships, work in tandem with other people. So that way I don't have to carry that heavy overhead like I have all these years. And it's working perfect. My lead flow is going up. My deal flow is going up. And still, like I said, my overhead is not going up. which is beautiful. So when you can increase your deal flow and you don't have like, now I need 10 cold callers, now I need 20 or 30. So I think our model is amazing. Anybody that believes in the system and follows it and builds it the way that we're building it, I promise you, you're in for something amazing. Yeah, and I'm experiencing it firsthand. And yeah, that's my goal for everybody on this call, is to be able to work a similar system where your business is growing and you are becoming more and more free as time goes on, instead of more buried in your work. Because if you structure this thing incorrectly, it will eat you alive. Going through paperwork, combing through numbers, deals, dealing with the title company, this thing will eat you alive. It really will. So our business model is cool, it's laid back, it's low pressure, and it works 100% of the time. Every single person that's implementing what we're doing is starting to experience the same thing. I was just talking to Elizabeth about it right now. She was like, I just feel just like the happiest I've ever been. It's the slowest pace I've ever been. She's like, I come in here and I'm working. She's like, but some days I just want to just come in and just chill for a second. It's like, ease your mind. We're working, we're trying to make as much money as fast as possible, but you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your mental health, your spiritual well-being, your physical health, because if you're always in scarcity, if you're always just working yourself to death, then it's just not a sustainable business model. I did it for such a long time in construction, and wake up with anxiety and go to bed exhausted and anxiety. It's just, so there's no space for it in my life anymore. I think we've designed the perfect model in business. It's the funnest business I've ever had, the coolest community I've ever seen before, the best people I've ever been around. So it's just win way down all the way across the board.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anthony, that's where I'm hoping to be. I've been in the remodeling business for 30 years, man. And, it's go, 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 man. You finish one job and you got to get the next one lined up and going, or you got 2 or 3 going at the same time. And just never seems to be enough cash flow there to have much of a reserve. It seems like every winter you get wiped out. And, man, that's what I'm looking for, some stability and just some peace, man.
That's it. That's literally it. I did it for 20 years, chasing the winner, giving it everything I had. For all my 20s, I worked 7/12s, man, every single day. I never got tired. I loved what I was doing. I was making plenty of money. I was just working around the clock. And yeah, eventually, I just realized, man, if I keep on trading my dollars, my hours for dollars, eventually my main resource is going to expire. It's going to run out. And so that's why I started to imagine a model where more my own effort, more of my own hours is not, the main deciding factor of the growth of the company. So now here, like I said, if you have to have mentees, you have to have people that you're teaching the game to make this business work, because you can be a one-man band, but you're going to max out. You're going to max out maybe a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million if you're just a one-man show. But once you start to, like I said, work with other people, leverage each other's time and energy and capital, that's when the magic really happens. And I'm just starting to experience it now. Things are getting crazy. We locked up a $2 million ranch and a $5 million ranch in a span of 45 days. So it's just it's starting to get more and more magical as time goes on. It's not getting more complicated. It's not getting more stressful. It's not requiring more of my hours. So it's pretty even and consistent. But as the team grows, as the people grow, and we teach them what to do what they're doing, then we all grow together. And nobody is contributing so much that they're expiring or becoming exhausted or frustrated or angry or going broke. So pretty cool environment.
Let's lock up a 6,300 acre ranch.
Dude, that one is so beautiful. That's amazing. That's such a great property. I think you're going to start to see less and less of those over time, because there's more and more people starting to move into this space. So whenever you see something that's in the thousands of acres, yeah, that requires a closer look. That's about the hour mark. I'm happy to chat for a few more minutes. If anybody has anything else you want to cover, any questions or anything like that. If not, I think that's a wrap. We appreciate everybody for being on here. We will see you again on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. This is not a singles dance. So, make sure that every time we have these calls, bring somebody new. Post on your stories, post on your Facebook, post on your social, get people excited about what you're doing. Just share what you're doing. Why would you harbor this information to yourself? Why would you keep this private? Such a beautiful game that we're playing, such a blessing, such a cool space to be in, around the coolest people I've ever met before. Why would you keep that private? Post it on your socials, invite people to these calls, grow a team, and I promise you some magic is right around the corner. It gets crazy fast, really, really fast. So we appreciate everybody for being on this call. Thank you for contributing your time and energy with us. And we do appreciate it. We hope to pay it back ASAP. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
You have a good night.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody. Take care.
Bye.